New Zealand.
And in that context, of course, Phil Goff is reaching out to that minority Pākehā lower-income males in Auckland as part of his strategy for crossing the divide.
Well, with 6% unemployment, low-income and unemployed people are not really, they're actually quite a significant part of the population, Matthew.
Let me seize upon that, Andrew, to kick off your look at the year ahead. Unemployment, obviously, one of the key issues in the next 12 months.
I think the economy is going to be the big feature of the year. That's been kick-started, obviously, with the Buckle tax review, so putting kind of tax and the whole question of economic policy very much at the forefront. I think Nationals jumped the gun a little bit with the calls around the end of the recession. I think they're going to find this a very difficult year. All of the predictors are that unemployment is going to stick. It's not going to come down. And given any lack of job creation policy from National, then they're certainly not going to be doing anything that's going to dramatically assist that.
The issue of unemployment, the political danger of unemployment is not so much those who are unemployed. They tend to be Labour people or if anything, opposition people because they're out of work.
This is not a political thing, though. Let's not think of it in that cynical term.
No, but the danger of unemployment is people who are still in work who fear they might become unemployed. And I think the issue of this year, what I do think is required for the government now is to demonstrate that it does have an economic plan.
But unemployment is getting worse, but just not as bad as was predicted. That's hardly a wonderful outcome.
We're in a global economic crisis. Global demand from our main trade, as a trade-exposed economy, a third of our economy is from exports. Global demand crashed in China and in the United States, and so of course that had an impact here. But this year they
aren't as bad as they could have been.
No, I think that the government could have done a lot more. I mean, it was interesting to see the National Distribution Union, for example, yesterday issued a challenge to the government to do a stock take on John Key's much-heralded Job Summit. Well, there would be nothing to stock take. I mean, what we've seen all of last year from John Key and the national government is a set of sort of set pieces of photo opportunities of the veneer of caring and doing something, but actually more often than not they did nothing. And I think that their big issue this year, and you can actually see the argument for this most strongly coming from the business community and sort of National's traditional supporters in Auckland, who are getting very frustrated that this is a government of inactivity, of inaction, on the big issues that New Zealand face. Now, Matthew and I and others will debate the type of response to those issues, but actually if there's total inaction, you start to look like you don't really care, and that's where I think the issue of unemployment is a major issue. You know, there are 6% of people unemployed, but many of us know people in that position, many of us know people who have taken wage cuts, many of us know people who have taken the hit in terms of the hard edge of the recession last year, who will be looking for a more caring government in 2010 if the economic circumstances are doing better. And at the moment, there appears to be very little in return for those people. To take, for example, some of the recommendations the Greens were putting forward in terms of their New Deal, which would have not only created thousands of jobs, for example, in the forestry sector, but also have added significantly or, have been a significant assistance in terms of the Kyoto obligations, a reduction of, our greenhouse profile. So actually, there's lots of smart ideas out there. The government just doesn't seem overly interested.
Andrew's absolutely right. The issue for the government is demonstrating it has some sort of plan.